I'm not one for ghost stories, but something happened last Christmas Eve that I can't explain. It was the kind of event that sticks with you, lingering in your thoughts long after the carols fade and the lights come down. It's not the kind of tale I'd share at the dinner table. Not unless I wanted everyone to lose their appetite. It was snowing hard that night. The kind of storm that blankets everything in silence, muting the world in white. I was visiting my parents in the small town where I grew up, nestled deep in the Appalachian foothills. My younger brother, Tommy, had begged me to take him sledding before bed. It was a family tradition, one we'd done every Christmas Eve since I could remember. "Come on, Mark," he whined, tugging at my sleeve. "Just one run down Raven Hill." Raven Hill wasn't the biggest slope in town, but it had a reputation. It was steep, fast, and lined with dense pines that seemed to swallow the light. Kids loved it during the day, but steered clear at night. There were stories, always stories. A girl who vanished there in the 80s, her sled found at the bottom of the hill but no sign of her. A shadowy figure seen weaving between the trees. The kind of things kids make up to spook each other. I wasn't much for ghost stories, but even I felt uneasy standing at the top of the hill that night. The moonlight barely pierced the thick snow clouds, and the wind whistled through the trees like a distant, mournful wail. Tommy didn't seem to care. He grinned up at me, his sled ready to go. "You're going first," I said, trying to sound confident. "I'll follow right after." He whooped and flung himself down the slope, his sled carving a path through the fresh snow. I watched his red jacket blur into the shadows, waiting for his shout of triumph at the bottom. But it never came. I frowned, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of him. "Tommy!" I called, my voice echoing off the trees. No response. I grabbed my sled and pushed off, the cold air biting my face as I hurtled down the hill. The snow glowed faintly under the moon, the trees whipping past in dark streaks. I kept my eyes ahead, searching for Tommy's red jacket. The hill seemed longer than I remembered, stretching endlessly into the shadows. Then I saw it, a flash of red, crumpled near the base of an old pine. I dug my heels into the snow, slowing to a stop just a few feet away. Tommy's sled was there, but he wasn't. "Tommy!" I called again, louder this time, panic creeping into my voice. The silence was deafening, the storm seeming to hold its breath. I turned, scanning the trees, and that's when I saw it. A figure stood halfway up the hill, barely visible through the falling snow. It wasn't Tommy. It was too tall, too still. The figure wore a long, dark coat, its face obscured by shadow. It didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, watching me. "Hey!" I shouted, my voice cracking. "Where's my brother?" No answer. The figure tilted its head slightly, almost curiously, and then it began to move. Not walking, not running. It glided down the hill, smooth and silent, as if it were part of the wind. I stumbled backward, slipping on the ice, my heart pounding in my chest. "Tommy!" I screamed, desperate. And then from somewhere deep in the woods, I heard it. His voice. "Mark. Help." It was faint, barely audible over the wind, but it was enough to snap me out of my frozen state. I scrambled to my feet and ran toward the sound, leaving the sled, the figure, and the hill behind. The woods were a maze of shadows and snow, each tree looking the same as the last. I called Tommy's name over and over, my voice hoarse, until finally, I saw him. He was huddled at the base of a tree, his face pale, his breath coming in sharp gasps. "Mark!" he whimpered, clutching my arm. It was chasing me. "What was?" I demanded, glancing over my shoulder. The woods were still, the figure nowhere to be seen. The man, Tommy whispered. He didn't have a face. I didn't wait to find out what he meant. I grabbed him and half-carried, half-dragged him back up the hill. When we reached the top, I turned for one last look. The slope was empty, the snow undisturbed, but at the base of the hill, near the old pine, a single set of footprints led off into the woods. We didn't go sledding again that night. In fact, I don't think I've been back to Raven Hill since. Every Christmas Eve, though, I think about that figure in the snow, gliding toward me without a sound. I think about the footprints, the stories, and the shadows that seem just a little too dark. And I wonder, what would have happened if I'd stayed just a moment longer?